What is up, girls? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Coach Nat. I'm an online women's fitness and nutrition coach, ILYSM bikini pro, and a first form athlete. And we're gonna be meal prepping for the first time in the new casita. So I have not meal prepped, which is so not like me. Like, I usually meal prep ingredients in bulk. I don't meal prep meals. I used to do that before, but it's just not what I do now. I like meal prepping ingredients so that I can make different variations of meal ideas throughout the week using the same things. So we're gonna get into it today. We are gonna be cooking basic stuff just like how I like it, and then when it's time to make those meals, we sauce it up with like low carb tortillas or like some low calorie sauce. So if you follow me on Instagram or if you follow me on TikTok, you see my recipes there. But if you want more recipes, I post recipes every single week inside of my Girl Gang Elite app. There is a 7-day free trial in the description. So here's what we're gonna be making today. I always have frozen veggies in my freezer. This is the easiest thing that you can whip together super fast. So this is the sugar snap pea stir fry. Got this at Walmart. What I'll do is I'll just toss this in a pan with some seasonings, and this is gonna be my main veggies for the week. I just toss this with my meals. It adds volume. I have those micronutrients, and I usually have veggies with every single one of my meals, so this usually goes by pretty fast. We're also prepping sweet potato. This is gonna be one of my main carb sources for the week, but I also have things like tortillas, I have bread, I have oats, I have cream of rice, so I will make different meals with what I already have on hand. But as far as prepping goes, this is gonna be the main carb source that I'm actually cooking ahead of time. And then for protein, we have 96% lean ground beef. Here's a pro tip when it comes to choosing your protein sources. If you're somebody who is just starting out with trying to have a higher protein diet, be in a calorie deficit, try to really watch what you eat so you can get closer to that fitness goal that you have in your mind, nutrition is always gonna be the main driver of your results. But I don't want you to get overwhelmed with trying to change everything in your diet. One of the first things that I started doing when I first improved my nutrition was taking a look at what I was already eating and then finding ways to make that healthier. So for example, my mom used to always buy ground beef, but she never really paid attention to the percent lean. So we would get things like 85% lean ground beef at the store because it was the cheaper option. So the first swap that I did was started looking at the beef percent lean. So this is 96% lean, which means that there's only 4 grams of fat per serving, as opposed to an 85% lean ground beef that has way more fat, hundreds of additional calories that I could be saving just by making a simple swap. So that's a pro tip. We're gonna meal prep that, and we're also going to meal prep chicken breasts. Another thing, if you're used to having chicken thighs, that's a great protein source, but just be mindful that that's very high in fat. So if you're somebody who's trying to watch your calories, watch your fat intake, a simple swap to chicken thighs can be something like chicken breasts, which virtually has 0 grams of fat per serving. I always like to start off with what takes the longest. So today, what's gonna take the longest is sweet potato. So we're gonna start cooking that first. So I'm gonna set the oven to 400 degrees and let that preheat while we chop up the potatoes. Sweet potatoes are ready, so we're just gonna stick this in the oven and we're gonna cook this in the middle rack for 40 minutes. Now I'm really excited to show you how I make my chicken, because a lot of you say that you can't meal prep chicken. You haven't been able to find a way where your chicken stays tasting good when you meal prep it. And that never happens to me. My chicken never gets dry. It's never tasteless. It's never bland. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I make it so you can replicate this and make yourself some chicken for meal prep. It is literally the easiest thing to do and one of my favorite protein sources. So you're gonna need zesty Italian. I use a fat-free zesty Italian dressing. And then I season it with complete seasoning. Sazón completa. If you know, you know. This is what I do. I'll season it with this. Sometimes if I'm getting fancy, I'll season it with like lemon pepper on both sides, but mostly I usually always do the complete season. So I have a container here because we're gonna marinate this for a bit before actually cooking it. So what I like to do is I like to get the chicken and I cut off any extra fatty pieces and I set that to the side, like this little chunky little piece. We don't really need this piece, but I like to save it to the side and cook it because I give it to Virgo as treats. So then what I do here is I just cut it down the middle to make it a little bit thinner. And now we have one skinny little chicken breast. So I'm gonna repeat that until I have a lot of chicken. Veggies are heating up on the pan. This is the simplest part. We'll just add some salt, garlic powder, and black pepper, and these will be done. So now that I've cut up all of my chicken, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna season both sides with a complete seasoning. Add as little or as much as you like. I like adding a lot so that it can have a lot of flavor. So we season one side and then I'm just gonna put it face down in the container, season it, and then with every layer, we're just gonna do a little drizzle of that zesty Italian dressing, and we're gonna repeat until we're done with all of our chicken. And that's how easy it is. If you're tracking macros, I know a question that I'm gonna get is how do you track the dressing? So if I were prepping, if I were currently like on prep, I would track every little thing. But since I'm not on prep right now, and the calories in this are so negligible, I don't track it. And unless you are prepping, you wouldn't have to track it. But you have to be mindful of those things that you choose to track and not track. Again, this is only 10 calories per 2 tablespoons. And I don't even think that I'm doing 2 tablespoons per chicken cutlet. So again, super negligible the amount of calories that are in this. So now that I'm done seasoning it and putting the dressing on every single cutlet, we're just gonna let this sit for like 30 minutes and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. The next thing we're going to prep is the 96% lean ground beef. So I usually make this like, I just put it on the pan and I'll chop it up into those little fine pieces just like ground beef. But I actually want to make this into little burgers because I'm kind of thinking that I want to have either a burger for a meal or like a burger salad. So I'm just going to make them into patties. What I'll do here is I'll portion out 4 ounces of each patty and then we'll go ahead and cook that in bulk on the pan. And since we are portioning them out, you will need a food scale. I'm gonna link the exact one that I used down in the description. So here's how we're gonna do it. I have my food scale here. We're gonna put the beef on top of the food scale and turn it on. And we're gonna change the units from grams to ounces. And then all that we'll do here is we'll take out a portion. And I want 4 ounces personally per patty. So we're gonna keep taking out some pieces until it says -4. And that means that I have 4 ounces of ground beef here, and we're just gonna roll that into a patty form, shape that into a patty form. And here's 1 patty, and we're just gonna repeat that until we finish all of the beef. We are almost done. Last thing that needs to get cooked is the chicken. Save this for last because this goes in the air fryer. We're gonna cook this at 430 degrees for 13 minutes. The air fryer that I use, by the way, is from Caloric. I have this linked on my Amazon storefront. It is awesome. I make so many recipes in here. So chicken goes in. Actually, it's cooking at 435, not 430. 435 for 13 minutes. And just like that, meal prep is complete. Now, here is another reason why I like to meal prep ingredients as opposed to meal prepping meals. Number 1, look how simple this was. Meal prep protein, meal prep carbs, meal prep veggies. But now what I like to do is I actually like to go into my recipe book. If you didn't know, I do have a recipe book. It's always linked in my bio. I'm gonna put it in the description. This is Macro Queen. It is my macro-friendly, high-protein, low-calorie recipes that I've put together over the years of tracking macros and coming up with macro-friendly recipes. Whenever I'm like, what the heck do I want to eat? I just take out my cookbook and I'll look for different recipes. So for example, we have chicken, we have beef, we have sweet potato. So out of the numerous recipes that are in there, I'll just scroll through some of the pages and I'll see, what the heck do I want to eat? This is one of my favorite meals, the mock chipotle burrito bowl. This has the ground beef in it, rice, it has fajita veggies. So if I wanted to, I can just chop up these burgers and make this. And for sure, one of the recipes that I'm gonna be making this week is the chicken power salad bowl with chicken breast. I have fajita veggies, sweet potato, avocado on a bed of spring mix. So this recipe book is going to be your best friend. If you don't know what to eat, if you don't know the ingredients, the macros, this breaks it all down for you. Again, you can find this in the description. That's gonna wrap up today's video. I hope that you enjoyed meal prepping for the first time in my new casita with me. If you have any suggestions or video ideas that you wanna see from me next, go ahead and drop them down in the comments and I will see you in my next video. Bye! From Aldi, I got bulk of my stuff. This is a heavy one. This is a heavy one. Okay, so